All right, guys, day 15. Yesterday we stripped everything off. Today I got the plasma cutter. Set up. Let's get to chopping. We'll cut this side and then we'll mark and cut the other side. Make it pretty and then bolt up control arms and see how we're looking. Let's get it. All right, guys, here it is. All cut and dolled up. Well, not completely. We still gotta rattle can the shit out of this, as we usually do. But both spring pockets are cut out. I'm gonna take off whatever I can, like all these little brackets. I don't think I'm gonna bother taping these up. I'll just tape the threads and the ends for the brake lines. And then I'll clean up some of this oil so the paint can stick, but I'll try to wipe down as much as I can, and then we'll just rattle can it. The whole frame. And then we can throw the front control arms on. We do the front control arms, mock up the bags. I need to figure out how I'm gonna run airlines. These cups are pretty short. So you look here, don't mind the mess tools I got here. I have some compression fittings for 1/2-inch line. I like these because the PTCs, eventually over time, if they're in a bind or something, they end up leaking. Compression fittings don't. But that cup sits right against the frame right here. So I'm either going to have to drill a hole and bring the airline out, which I think it ends up being somewhere like right here. Bring the airline out and then follow the frame. I'd like to keep it inside the frame so we get it away from all the heat and, you know, any moving parts. So what I'm thinking, and I kind of already prepped this, these little spikes up here, focus. These little spikes center the cup or the spring, but I cut the ones on this side, but I don't think it's gonna be enough anyway. If I can run a 90, I might be able to bring it out and just run it inside the frame towards the back and then bring it out back there somewhere. But the easy solution, and I don't have those compression fittings, are like 20 bucks a pop. And I would need 2 of them for both fronts. So I might just go the easy way and just bring them straight out and then just have the airline follow the frame, and then I can bring it back inside. Maybe just put some of that DI heat shield fiberglass silicone stuff to wrap the line along the frame, at least here in the engine bay, because the headers are going to be pretty close. We'll figure that out. For now, let's get all this cleaned up. All right, guys, I'm still taking some of this shit apart. But if you have an 88 to 98 OBS and you have some sloppy steering, 8 out of 10 times is gonna be this. This rag joint is garbage. So, this is probably one of the best and easiest mods you could do is replace the steering shaft. It's 2 bolts. This one, it's 10 millimeter. And then, no, I'm sorry, 7/16 or 11 on this bolt. And then here you have one that goes through it and it's a 15 millimeter nut. Once you take that out, that bolt comes out. It's got like a little tab on it, a lock. Well, anyway, all you gotta do, where's my screwdriver? Once you get those out, then you can just pry up on this one. And keep in mind, you gotta take it all the way out because that bolt helps this lock in there. But I'm trying to do this one-handed and it's not working for me. There you go. You pop it out. So in here, this shaft telescopes. Can't really see it because it's condom, but all right, pop that one out. And then this one, see how it's in that hole? You just slip it out. This is a piece of junk. So we'll throw this out. And Cunningham machine makes this solid piece, right? Easy. So now, all you gotta do, oh, sorry. We gotta take this piece out, that piece that telescopes. So, all right, I'll set you guys up on the bench. So this piece, right, the piece with the condom, just pull that foreskin back, and then you pull this piece out. Now this piece is gonna go inside this piece. I'm gonna clean this up first, put some new grease on it, and then slap it back in, and then we'll throw it on the truck. All right, got this one cleaned up. And this is like a little spring that rides pretty much in here to keep tension on that, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give this a little more tension since it looks like it was pretty flat already. You don't need much, just a little bit of an arch. I'll put this in here, and we'll grab this one. This is just regular ass moly grease. And you don't need to pack a whole ton of it in there. It's just to help lubricate it if it does like slide in or out or whatever. So, you got that. Now, we'll pop this sucker in there. See how it just keeps tension on there? Give it a little tap. Where's my hammer? Well, let's do this. There you go. And we'll, once we get everything painted on the engine bay or the frame, I'll throw this back in and I'll show you guys once we put it back together. But this thing pretty much eliminates that rag joint, takes the slop out of your steering, and gives you a nice, U-joint here instead. I did this one on my last dually, and it was amazing. The difference it made was amazing. But anyway, just thought I'd show you guys. Alright guys, I was taking this stuff apart, getting it ready for paint, and it dawned on me, we're still not done. We are gonna have to notch for the tie rods, and we still gotta set up the shocks. So, what I need to do is, excuse me. Thank you. What we need to do is bolt in the control arms, set up, at least put the spindle on it, and then I have a steering kit that I got from Infamous, which is this one. We're gonna have to cut it for clearance on the frame right here. So anyway, let's get the front control arms on, and then we'll put the bag in place, cycle suspension, and see where we have to mount our shocks. Now these shock mounts, it's the first time I'm trying these. These are like shock pockets. So the gist of it is that they'll go like this, but they'll be recessed inside the frame to still give you some space to be able to turn the wheel. And I know for a fact my tire was already rubbing here, but hopefully these control arms will fix that, because since they're extended with 3/4 ton hubs, it might give me a little bit more space to turn. If not, then we'll grab some spacers. But let's see what we can do with these. Once we get the control arms on, and we'll get the spindle on it, see what it looks like. Let's do it. Alright guys, we found another issue. So the arm is getting stopped right there on the inside. So I'm gonna cut that out about there. So I'll come across this way. Remember, no sharp edges. Cut that there. We'll go ahead and do the other side too. Alright guys, detail I forgot. The spindle needs to get bored out to fit a bigger bolt for the steering kit. So basically you drill that out to fit this bolt, which it has the misalignment spacers too, which is pretty cool. But what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna put a bolt through it just to articulate the suspension and see exactly, so I can go ahead and mark it where we need to notch the frame for this. And then once we get the suspension all the way up where it's gonna be pretty much where it's gonna be laid out. I'll mock up the shock pockets and see where those are gonna go on the frame, so we can get that marked up and chop it out and tack them in. So let's do that. For now, once I pull everything off again to paint the frame, once all the mods are done, then I'll pressure wash the spindles, paint those, and I'll go ahead and drill out this for the bolt. Alright guys, so this is where we're gonna cut it. The tie rod probably goes right here, but if I follow this weld, I think I'll go right on the edge of it, cut it straight back, and then go across. I have some, I think I got some 2-inch pipe. So I'm gonna grab that nipple of that. I'll grab that piece of pipe and cut it in half, long ways, and then I'll mock it up here, mark it, cut this out, and then on this side, and then I'll butt it up there, tack it up, and then I'll do the same on that side. And we'll be done with the tie rod clearance. And then once we get that done, then we can mock up the shock mounts, see where those are gonna go. Whew. All right guys, so I cut this piece of pipe, notched it, welded it, and this is pretty much how I did it. So what I'll do next, see, I got it flush right here. And this one has more curve on it. The frame horn up front does, because it doesn't have a steering box. But I'm gonna cut it flush with the plasma cutter. I already welded the bottoms to the frame. I swear to God, the lift has been the best money I've ever spent. I spent so much money on a bunch of dumb shit. This thing is the best thing ever. Anyway, I'm gonna cut this excess right here on the outside, the inside. This one, I think I can just grind it and then weld it. And then we should be good for those tie rod notches. So let's finish doing that, and we'll get the other side of the control arms on, and then we can mock up the shocks, see where they're gonna go. Let's get it. All right, fellas, here's what we got. Welds aren't pretty. It ain't much, but it's honest work. So now that we got those done, we'll put the spindle back on, and then test fit for the front shocks. Like I said, I'm not real sure how we're gonna do these, but I know Infamous has like a, I guess like a photo album that kind of shows the steps, but it doesn't tell you anything. You just gotta go off by the pictures or you gotta go off of the pictures to kind of figure it out. So I'm pretty sure you can send them an email and they'll give you like a step-by-step, but let's see if we can figure it out and try not to mess it up. All right, this is what we got. So this is suspension all the way up. And I'm thinking we can go a little bit lower. So right now we are hitting right here on the control arm. So what I'm thinking is we cut a little triangle out, like cut it back this way towards the frame, and then cut it here, and then I'll just make like a flat plate to bridge this side to the back here. That'll give us a little more room for the control arm to come up. Now, my tie rods are pretty close to tapping out right there. But once we get these drilled out, I haven't drilled them out yet. I can't find my 5/8 drill bit, so I'm gonna have to buy one. But I'm thinking we can space it down more, and that should be able to, give us some more clearance here. So I think tomorrow we'll focus. We'll cut this across to that mark. From that mark, I think I'll cut it outside first, and then from there I'll go across. That way it gives us a little more room to come up, which I mean isn't much, but it's not much there. But up here it'll probably be another, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch to an inch. I'm trying to lay this big turd out, so it'll be the same on this side. And I still need to drill this one out, and then we'll go ahead and cut this one too. That way we can get as low as we can, period. That's it for today, guys. I think we got a lot done. A lot of figuring shit out. A lot of put on, take off, put on, take off, and put on and take off, but I'd rather do all this a bunch of times and get it right than slap it all together and end up being shit. So, thanks for hanging out. Peace, beaners.